So let's start. I don't know if you were there this morning, but you know, the whole point about securing the identities is that in order to protect your data information, we need to protect the identities. And the whole goal of this session is to explain how we can achieve that in the right manner, I guess. Because again, in order to secure your data, you need to understand all the identities you are managing with the right access and the right privileges around all the right applications. And it's actually the new perimeter of managing all your security. Identity is actually key. So again, it's all about enabling the right individuals, accessing the right resources. It could be servers, it could be applications, it could be devices, workstations or whatever, right? And understand if it's the right time for the right reasons. So all about that is saying that we need to understand how to manage a proper solution to the identity management. So it's part of the whole Netwrix offering. I won't go through that, but all this is actually is actually to understand what we do in terms of identity security. I'm always moving from one side to the other, but anyway. So it's all about AD security, privilege access management, identity access management. So it's how you can secure your identities today. So it's all about I don't know if you're familiar with the NIST framework. Right, the NIST security framework. You can recognize all the information about the whole goal is to identify where you have identities, how you can manage that, how you can protect them, how you can detect if you're under attack. And the last thing is actually how you can recover from any attack or how you can respond to something which is going wrong into your organization. So question is, can you answer all these questions and understand what you can do about that? So the first thing is actually to manage identities is, again, understand where you have identities in your environment, and it starts with privilege accounts. How many of you know how many privilege accounts you have in your organization? Do you know how many privilege accounts you have in your organization? Yeah, roughly? Okay. So
we have this regular audit, so we have kind of sense that.
Okay. But it's massively unknown, right? We don't know. So the first part is to understand, how we can identify privilege account, privilege access, admins, all that stuff in all the organization. Obviously, you have some solutions to do that for AD, for Azure AD. You have some freeware tools, which are great, by the way. And they are helping you to understand what you have. But do you know how many local privilege accounts or local admin accounts you have on all your workstations, all your servers, all your devices? Okay? This is something which is difficult to understand. And gathering all this information on all the devices is something which is difficult. But you need to do that. Because if you want to, you can't protect what you don't know, basically. Right? If I don't know that I have an admin account on my workstation and doing that, it's open door to something, right? This is something which is very interesting and very useful to know. I don't know if you have seen this gigabyte vulnerability, or the gigabyte motherboards. They have an agent, you can install an agent on your server if you have a gigabyte motherboard, and it does create a local admin account when you do install this small software. So it could be an individual doing that, it could be a vector, it could be by mistake they were creating this user, no one will actually know at the end, but it's happening. And so this is something which was, I think, in the press a few days ago, a day ago, something like that. So be careful if you have a gigabyte motherboard. This is something which is happening as we speak. So again, identifying, listing all your privilege accounts is something which is interesting in order to protect that. So this is something we do with a very long name, privilege secure for discovery. So anyway, it's not my product name, but anyway, so it's a way for us to report on all your privilege accounts without any agent. Okay? So we can scan all your devices on your network, and including all the non-domain joined computers if you have an XDR solution. And we will be able to list all the privilege accounts in almost real time. We can scan 10,000 devices every 30 minutes. So this is something which is interesting. And it's good for assessing what you have, right? In order to list all the privileged accounts in your organization. So this is an example where I can actually scan, we can report on the number of privileged accounts or the number of accounts being admins on some workstations, for example. List all the high-risk systems. Again, it could be a local admin account creating a local SAM or a local database. Could also be, someone has too many accesses to all of your systems. Okay? So this is something we do, and this is something where you can actually see the trend. For example, you can see the activity, and you can see that, from the beginning, you had too many privileged accounts, but at some point in time, you succeed in reducing the number of accounts or privileged accounts you have in your organization. So it's all about discovering, listing in almost real time. It's good to understand that as we are scanning 10,000 devices every 30 minutes, okay, you can do that in a regular basis. You can do that every day. You can start doing the schedule and the check of all your devices, servers, workstations, Mac OS, Linux machines, all the time. Of course, it's good for assessing where you are. It's also very interesting as an ongoing solution, because then if something is happening, if someone is trying to create a new local privilege account, you will be able to be alerted. You can send this information to the SIEM solution that's provided for the others, but we can also remediate on that. We can actually automatically remove privilege accounts which has just been created. Okay? So it's a good solution to actually understand where you are and actually controlling that it won't happen again and that you can be alerted of that. And the last part, the second part, is actually how to manage access to privileged accounts. So we have also a PAM solution. I'm sure you know all the other vendors in the world doing PAM. But the good thing is about this solution is all about having this nice interface, and again, trying to help you removing all the standing privilege in your organization. Because the thing is, when you have a PAM solution, you're still managing privileged accounts. Right? This privileged account is staying forever in your organization, in your IS systems. But it's not the point. The point is trying to have less privileged accounts than before. So the thing we do is that actually we are removing the standing privilege and then create on-demand accounts when you need to do something which needs privilege, escalation or whatever. So this is important because then you can control everything, because when you won't need any privileged accounts, this account won't exist into your IFX system. So we will fully orchestrate the creation of the on-demand ephemeral account. We will put the right permission on it, start your session, do your activity, do your work, record everything. Then when your session is done, we will remove the privilege and we will also delete this account. So the attack surface will be a lot less because you won't have so many admin accounts in your organization. And this is something which is very interesting, because if you want to achieve things like, you have an auditor saying you have too many admin accounts, you have too many users, and you need to control that. This is a good way with the discovery part to actually reduce the number of privileged account, admin accounts you have. I will do a demo tomorrow about this product. I will concentrate on this one. But again, we can fully control the provisioning, reprovisioning of all the activities. And it's a very sleek interface. It doesn't need to be scripted. It's all based on wizards and activities you can do. So I will do the demo tomorrow. But again, just think about that. When you think about identities, when you think about securing your environment, the first thing you want to do is actually to understand where you have admin accounts, how you can remove them, and then if you need to stay with them, or if you need to delegate or do some privileged activity, how can you do that without creating new additional admin accounts? The second part is about govern and comply. It's about reporting on your activity, audit findings, and trying to understand where you are, and trying to, removing again unneeded privilege, but again, report on everything, because obviously, if you are in the financial, business side of things, or if you are under some scrutiny with auditors, you need to actually store everything, you need to trace everything, you need to record everything. So this is also something we can help you with. Again, demonstration tomorrow about this product, but it's all about being able to play back, report, send alerts to other existing systems, and also let the auditors check their own and do their own report about your activity. And you can do that in full confidence because everything will be managed. Then comes the second aspect of identity management. I was speaking about privileged accounts, that you have a lot of identities in your organization. I am a normal user at Netwrix, right? But I'm doing my job, I'm trying to do my job, by the way. So the thing is, in order to do my job, when I joined Netwrix, I had to have an AD account, maybe a Salesforce account, maybe Office 365 license attached to me, right? Maybe a Slack account, whatever, right? So it's all about managing all the identities I need to have in order to do my work. Okay? So then comes the full IGA, identity and access management solution, which is how can we manage the normal user, the normal employees, how can we ensure that they have the right access to the right applications with the right permissions. So again, I am a technical guy at Netwrix, so therefore I need to have Salesforce access, but I can't generate a code, for example. So it's all about having the right permission in the right application. So this is also something we are doing, and this is something which is interesting if you want to manage all your identities. The good thing about that is that with the right processes, you can onboard someone in a few minutes, maximum 4 hours. Okay? You can offboard people in 20 minutes, in a matter of minutes, and you can generate all the reports about things like who can validate the bank transfer, who can access the HR folder, for example. It's all about controlling your identities. So it's what we do. IGA is all about managing all your identities. It's managing about all your employees' processes. It's a little bit more complex than just managing privileged accounts because you need to understand all the processes in your organization. You need to understand all the roles and defining all the application as a target or source. But still, it's important to understand that, okay, it's another story, but if you have new projects around identity and access management, this is something we can provide also. And again, kind of the same thing about role definition. If you want to do that, you know that in order to design an identity and access management solution, you need to design all the roles. What is it to be a sales guy in your company? What is it to be a technical guy, maybe a field guy, or an office-based guy? And understand what you do. So this is also something which is interesting that we are using machine learning in order to understand, to help you design all the roles. So we are using some advanced capability to help you designing all the roles because it's all about what you want to do here, and also understanding what you want to do in terms of if someone is transitioning from one role to another role within the same organization. If you want to have access to several solutions, this is also a feature of the support. Then comes how you can integrate the identity management with your source information, because sometimes customers are saying, okay, or we are asking, what do you do? How do you create a new employee? What do you know when you are creating a new employee? Is it coming from the HR database? This is just an email you are receiving from someone saying you need to create a new account for this guy. He's starting tomorrow, and maybe you will never know when this position will be ended, right? Or is it fully integrated with an HR database? Do you have processes around that? So again, it's all about having a flexible solution to understand if you have old information, if you want to replace some manual processes, or if it's just completely automated. Could come from ServiceNow, it could come from the ITSM solutions you have, could be just a manual process. Sometimes we are helping our customers to just moving from manual processes to kind of an automatic way of doing some provisioning. So this is also interesting, is that this product can understand and can manage any information as a source. It could be, again, a ticket, it could be an email, it could be a CSV file, it could be an HR database. So it's all about understanding all the processes and what you want to achieve once someone has to be created into the IS system you have. And it's all about connecting to your target system. So again, it could be a SQL Server, it could be a Salesforce, it could be like I don't know, Office 365, Access or whatever. And the last thing is to understand how you can enable and guard your privilege and your access. So this is also something we do, so this time on the device side of things. And the good thing about this solution is that sometimes, for someone to do his work, he needs to be a local admin of his workstation. You have marketing guys, they want to be admin of their workstation. Sometimes it's a developer, they want to use Visual Studio and they need to have admin rights. So with this policy pack thing, it can do a lot of things. There is a lot of use case. But just for the sake of this session, we can actually tell the product that a normal user starting this application will need admin privilege just for the sake of starting this application, and that's it. So if he's starting Visual Studio, he will be an admin. If he's still using Chrome with the same session, he will be a local user. So think about that. With these three solutions, we can manage local admin rights, we can manage local privilege accounts, and with the user cube solution, it's all about managing all the identities. Okay? So more on that, I think I'm running out of time. But again, tomorrow at 2 p.m., I will go to this PAM solution and trying to understand and tell you how we achieve that. I will go through the on-demand account creation, orchestration, and everything, and showing you what we can do in terms of discovering privilege accounts and remediate on that. And if you want to know more, the booth is downstairs. It's a very red one, so it's red and white, so you can't miss it, I guess. Any question?
The playback videos, do you capture all user inputs?
Yes. So the question is, can we record, what the session was done, or what the user was doing during the session? So we do have the video feed with the key logging, and we also record all the metadata information. Let's say if I'm in an RDP session, if I'm clicking on Chrome, you will have information that at that time I was starting Chrome with some parameters or whatever. So
Passwords also?
Yes. Except if you don't want to. No, there is an option. But again, if you are typing it up, if you have stars in the field, you have an option of not storing that, or if you want to store it. Exactly. Yes.
I have actually one complex question. After your first presentation this morning, and after that, David also had some similar things, and he mentioned AI and the expansion of possibilities for hacking, for misuse of AI, etc. And here we are talking about all different levels of protection, but we still use password as our primary authentication in most cases. Yeah, you partially answered my question already with these ephemeral accounts and the automatic creation of those, etc. But do you have some idea? So even in my company, we recently elongated users' passwords from 8 to 14 characters. Users were pissed about it. So nobody was. Yeah. And how long before we will need to do it like 30 characters? how long when certificates won't be secure enough. MFA was broken multiple times from Google, from Microsoft. Even some algorithms are cracked, etc. So what to do at the base that we still have to use? So it's not. It seems that it's not enough to build up. We need to do something about our foundations as well.
I agree. I think the answer is passwordless authentication, in the near future. But the thing is that we need to have all the system integrated to passwordless, and take some time. So the thing that we are in the mess as we speak, because we are doing this ephemeral account still linked to a password, as you say.
Yeah.
But the session, the end user will never know his password. So this is one answer, but it's only for privileged activities as we speak.
Yeah.
The answer is passwordless. So we do integrate it with any standard V2 solution. So if you have a passwordless solution, then we can integrate with that. As a vendor, we don't have any answer yet to that, but we plan to integrate with other software vendors to do some passwordless approach to that. But you're right, so far and even passwordless. I don't know if the end user experience is not so great. Because you want to connect to something, so you need to have your phone and you need to answer some questions or do something like that. It's better than just typing a 40-character long password, but it's still not so great. So Windows Hello should have been an answer, this facial recognition. But again, it's about supporting all the applications. So I don't have an answer because I don't think the market has yet an answer.
Yeah, this is like an ongoing question.
Yeah, you're right. Any other question? Okay, thank you for your time.